In this video, I want to share with you my experience about living in an intentional community with their own community currency that I helped them to create, and what it was like to be there in a community that was run with its own currency. So where to start? What an experience. I knew this community, Piracanga, in Bahia, Brazil, for quite a while. I'd heard about it, but I'd never really made the time to go there. And when I was doing my thesis in regenerative economics at Schumacher College, it was really the time where I learned so much around new systems. My world came crashing in. I had studied profit maximizing, economics, the Keynesian neoclassical way, and all of a sudden I was seeing new ways, new systems, learning from nature, collaboration instead of competition, just so many different terms. And what really excited me so much in this journey was community currencies. And so part of my thesis was living with this community in Brazil and creating their own community currency. It was super exciting for me because I got to do a real life lived example of what I was studying and implementing it. And so when I went there, I lived with the community for over 2 months to really understand how the community worked. There were over 200 people living there full time and at a capacity of up to 500 people. And there were different projects such as the Eco Village Center. There was one for this kids' school, recycling, so many different things. The music center, and everything had their own projects, their own income, their own money systems. Now, when we went to study the process of the Eco Village and how we could bring in their own community currency, it was really interesting because I'd gone through a model of communism, let's say, or everyone putting everything into a pot and getting the same amount. Then each project had their own amounts. Then money was distributed equally to everyone. It was like crazy because I got to see all the economic systems that I had studied in one place. And now they had different projects with different amounts of money, each one with their own money, but they were not circulating that. And so what we wanted to do was to create a circulation, almost like a banking system between the projects. So if one project was saving up money and they needed 2 years more to save it up, in the meantime, other projects could use that money to fund other little things that they wanted to do. So this was really exciting. So we kind of set up a banking system for them. The second thing was that I could really implement the things I had learned about community currencies. And the real deep thing about community currencies is that $1 that you spend with a community currency or €1 stays within that community and generally circulates 3 times versus a normal euro that you put in and it just gets taken out of the community. So what it does is increases like what people do in the community. So for example, before they were buying bread from outside of the community. All of a sudden with the local currency, someone decided to make bread because the baker could then use that money. Same things like clothes were starting to be made there. Other things, it was developing its own industry instead of outsourcing it. And that's very much similar with us buying from local producers within our community that supports the local community versus from, let's say, larger multinationals that just pump out the money to wherever else it's going. That's another discussion. But that was something I really wanted to bring into that context. And that was something that thrived. One of the things I'd learned was really that it builds local communities, local projects, local businesses, and we saw that result. Another amazing thing was that when we used the currency, we didn't make it debt-based. So currently in our economic system, money is debt-based. So it's printed out of debt. Here we spent it into circulation. It was really exciting because we did a competition. The notes and coins, what we printed on them was mainly notes, but they were drawn by children in the community. Each note had a value of the community on it, a principle of the community. We made them vertical instead of horizontal, saying that the energy was moving upwards. We spent them into circulation by giving everyone the community currency, even children, so they could learn about it. So it was really this cycle of abundance versus coming from debt. For me, this was absolutely fascinating. Now, another big key takeaway of this community was that they were 2 hours from the airport. And because they knew they had people traveling in, they used to get robbed a lot along the way. What was amazing with the community currency was that it was like paper money. So people would transfer money to the community and then take out the community currency when they were there. So number one, people were not being robbed along the way because they were not carrying a lot of money with them anymore. And number two, the break-ins in the community from outside also reduced because there was no more money to take. It was just amazing because they were like, oh, you're playing with Monopoly money. This was just absolutely fascinating for me. The learnings that we took away from that. So the 2 main learnings that I took away from this experience was that, number one, it wasn't about the money we were using, about the notes and the coins on the outside, because the way people related to the community currency was exactly the same as we did in society. So I started realizing it wasn't about the notes and coins. We had to look at our inner relationship to money. And that's my work was born from. I started doing workshops with hundreds of people there around their relationship to money, to understanding how they're relating to it, because that didn't change. No matter if the notes and coins changed, their personal relationship, scarcity, fears, everything was still coming out. And the second thing was that it wasn't necessarily better to be in a community separated from the world, because the same issues were still coming up there. We are the same people living in different contexts. And we thought, okay, creating a community with the values that we believe in will breed something different. But the inherent values of people, the inherent thinking was being translated there. And so I realized my work was much deeper than that, much deeper than creating a new means on the outside. It was understanding the inner relationship to money, the inner relationship to what people are going through, how they relate to money, that really allows a transformation to happen. And so this was a key turning point, writing my thesis there, creating this community currency, realizing that it wasn't about the outer money, and also blossoming of my inner work from that point on, because that's where it started from, your inner relationship to money, on transforming that to transforming the whole community's way of relating to it. So I hope this inspired you in some way. If you have any questions, please ping them below. If you are on your journey to understanding your relationship with money differently, I have a free guide below. You can sign up to really dig into understanding how to get to financial peace of mind. And if this inspired you, please share it. I'd love to see you more in my world here and to share more about these topics.